This is my dad. He's not from here. Here we are in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, or KL for short. This is where he's from. We took an hour flight from home to Seattle, then another 10-hour flight to Seoul, and then a final 6-hour flight into Kuala Lumpur. Here's us eating durian in KL. 10 out of 10 would not recommend. In 1978, he made a similar trip out of KL to Yellowknife, Canada. He spent a couple years here finishing school and working really shitty jobs kids like us have now. Here's a picture of my dad in Malaysia as a kid. Long hair, tall, skinny, clothes resembling a Chinese mixture of a Jimi Hendrix or Bob Dylan, maybe even Neil Young. Now here's some context. Growing up in KL in the 60s and 70s was a cultural mashup. He was Chinese, surrounded by all sorts of races and cultures, growing up in a Malay Muslim country.
Okay, I come from basically a Muslim country. Everything is pretty much dictated by the government, even in schools. The school uniforms, the length of your hair, and even the school systems is pretty much restricted in a way.
Growing up here, my dad felt trapped. He knew there was another world there he hadn't seen. Kuala Lumpur was a metropolis, a little more open to the world than the rest of the country, and Western culture and rock and roll was all around him. TV, radio, movies, albums, and posters were all cherished things from places where art and creativity flowed freely. America. For him, the US, like to most people, meant opportunity, freedom, somewhere where he could express himself and be closer to the things he loved.
Ever since I was a kid, as a teenager growing up in Malaysia, I spent a lot of time watching American movies, listening to American music, and reading magazines. And I was fascinated by the culture.
But also meant living behind the people he loved most.
How hard was it for you to move from Malaysia?
It was hard for the family because I know once I'm both away, I'm going to miss them a great deal, and especially on my parents who they are going to send me money. They're going to send money over here for me for school, tuition, food, rent, plus everything else.
Moving to Canada was the first step. He had family there to help him start to realize his dream. Right continent, wrong country. For my dad, there was ever only one real goal. And moving to the States was a risk. A huge one. A lot of change, a strange new place, and a realization of an old dream. Rebuilding connections that thousands of miles have strained. Recently, I got my dad on Facebook and WhatsApp. For the first time in almost 4 decades, my dad can talk and share with family in real time. Sharing stories or pictures of each other's kids in a matter of seconds. It's been a little hard to teach him how to use social media, but he tries, and he's starting to get the hang of it. Something I'm secretly proud of.
Like I said, in the beginning it was pretty hard for me because I'm old school. So I still do things the old-fashioned way. I like typing letters, writing diaries. Everything involving a pen, a pencil, and writing down stuff.
Okay. So it's kind of hard from going to like printed stuff or doing stuff by hand to reading stuff online.
To actually, doing it by finger now instead of, like textings and all this stuff.
Yeah.
iPhones and social media is hard to learn for someone who grew up with a black and white television set, but I think he's starting to get the hang of it.
But as I get more and more familiar with it, it actually becomes a lot easier for me.
Yeah.
And I came to like it more because a lot of things can be done easier with social media now than before. I still email to friends and family, but I can actually now get myself into what we call a group chat with family members, with friends overseas.
Even for my dad, who's not a big-time social media user, social media impacts his everyday life.
How has social media impacted your life?
Well, now I'm getting more used to it, and it impacted me very much. You know, now I actually, how to put it, I can actually live without it because it makes a lot of stuff easier.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of communication with friends, family, you know, strangers,
Yeah.
or whatever. I mean, I can actually see social media. The opportunities are endless. Now I can fathom what social media is like 50, even 100 years from now. You know, I may not live to see it, but I can see the endless opportunities.